Okay, we're recording.
Yay.
Okay, hey you guys. I am so excited to be here with my friend and Mary Kay, beauty consultant, Yesenia Wright. And she is totally an expert at the art of the eyeliner, whether it's the winged eye or just a regular everyday eyeliner look. And so I've asked her to show us some of her tips and tricks. And so that way we can duplicate this in the morning when we wake up. So Yesenia, I'm just going to turn it over to you.
Alrighty, so I'm going to take off my glasses so that you guys can see. So I'm a little blind right now. But right now I have on my winged liner, and this is what this is my go-to every day, all day, every day. And what I use is our Mary Kay gel liner, which is this little guy here. It's in this little pot with its applicator here, which I'm going to show you guys how to do that. But that's my go-to. I feel like I have more control with it. It's something that I have practiced a lot. So I would say that's more of like on the advanced side, but it's still super easy to do, super doable. Even if you're not real comfortable with doing a winged liner, you can still use it as your regular liner. I just love the formula. It's super creamy, and it dries really quickly, and it's not like it doesn't feel like really heavy on your eyes either. And it doesn't run as much as like some of our other like liquid liners do. So that's one there. I'm also going to show you guys kind of like a little bit of a cheat. If you're wanting to do the winged liner, there's a couple different ways to do it. I've got a bobby pin here. I don't know if you can see that there. There we go. The bobby pin there. And I was going to use tape, but I noticed that like the tape sometimes can irritate your eye, especially around this little area here. We don't want to irritate your eyes at all, especially because that skin is so sensitive. It's very thin, and you definitely don't want to cause any unnecessary wrinkles. So I'm going to be using the back of one of my business cards to show you that. And then using the business card as well, I'm going to show you another way of using it with eyeshadow. So 3 different ways that you can do your liner that I really like to do, just because it's super easy, and it's easy to replicate. In the morning, it's quick and easy, and when you have more time, you can really just kind of practice it, you know, on your own time and really perfect and figure out which one you like better. So what I'm going to start off doing is, of course, taking off my winged liner so you guys can see what it looks like and kind of like how I go through that process there. And I'm using our oil-free makeup remover. I've already shaken it up a little bit. Just going to use a little bit of a cotton ball here. And it really doesn't take much to take your makeup off, just because the formula is absolutely amazing. I'm going to shift my computer this way. Of course, I've got my fancy mirror here. Let's see. Okay. So I'm just going to take the wing off there. And I don't want to rub too much on my eyelashes because I want to keep a little bit of my mascara on. But honestly, it doesn't take much to get all that off. See? And there we go. Eyeliner is gone. Yes. So no eyeliner, eyeliner. Just as a give you guys a little bit of a preview there. Okay. So the first way I'm going to do it, I'm going to kind of build off from the lightest to the darkest, just so that way we can see the different dimensions. I'm going to start off by using the eyeshadow, and I'm just going to use one of our brown shadows. So this is Hot Fudge. I'm going to show it a little bit different here as well. Hot Fudge. You see, I use that one a lot. Actually, that's actually what I use to fill in my brows. So very versatile products that we've got here. And I'm going to grab our Mary Kay eyebrow and eyeliner brush. So it's got the angled brush there. You see it there. And then the spoolie on the other side. And of course, that's covered with my eyebrow stuff. Okay, so One of the other tips that I like to use as well is whenever you're doing your liner, you want to keep your eyes open. And the reason is, I don't know if you ladies have ever tried, when you're trying to do your liner and you have your eye closed and then you think you've got it perfect and you open your eye up and it completely disappears, or you get liner all over your lid and now you have to start all over. It's the most frustrating thing I have ever done. And it's terrible because then you're like, man, now I gotta start all over. So what I always recommend is keeping your eye open, and that also helps you kind of see how your eye is contoured, where your eyeshadows are going to go as well, and really where your liner is going to land on those eyeshadows, especially if you're doing a complicated look or anything like that. This is the best way to do it. So I'm going to take back part of my business card here. Just going to take a little bit of the shadow on the brush there. And what you'll want to do, of course, my eye's going to be open, but I've got the card just kind of sitting there, and you don't want to extend it all the way, obviously, out to like where your eyebrow is, but you want to kind of have it at an angle, and everybody's eye shape is different. So I might be holding the card up a little higher, I might be holding it a little bit lower. It just depends on what your eye shape is. For my ladies that have more of like your hooded eyes, this is a little bit trickier. You do still want your eye to be open though, just because that's going to prevent, you know, that top part of your lid from really covering those lash lines. And the best way to do hooded eyes is actually doing it in smaller strokes versus just one long complete stroke. And that's going to give you more definition. It's going to obviously make more layers of the liner. It's going to make it last longer, and it's going to look really, really good. So here we go. Got that there. So I'm going to hold it up kind of at like a 45-ish degree angle. And of course, I'm going to hold my eye open, and I'm going to start at the edge here because that's going to be my tail. So starting here, and I'm just going to move in to the eye, and there we go. That's the start of a wing there. Wing liner with eyeshadow, super easy. And then of course, the rest of the part that you got to do, you kind of just fill in a little bit more there. And then you want to close your eye a little bit. And then you just fill in like you would if you were doing your regular liner. And there we go. So that is honestly the easiest way to do a line, winged liner. And of course, it's not all the way complete, but it's absolutely easy and it's flawless. And that way, you know, it's super light. So if you don't want it to look like too strong or anything like that, or if you want to play around with some of the other eyeshadow colors, if you want to do like a purple or like a green or something, just depending on what look it is that you're doing, there you go. It's super light to where you can kind of play with it. You can smudge it out a little bit more if you want to, or keep it as bold as you want. So there's that one. Super easy to do. And then of course, using the back of the card, it doesn't irritate your eyes like the tape does. And again, it just really goes on super smooth and regular day that you can take it into nighttime. Okay, so the next one that I'm going to show you, I'm going to take a little bit off of that tail there just so that you can kind of see what it looks like again, starting from scratch, we'll say. All right, so just going to take that little thing off. And of course, because it is with eyeshadow, it comes off super easy. Doesn't take much, and it doesn't irritate your eye at all. So there's that one. So now I'm going to use our Mary Kay waterproof liquid eyeliner pen. You can see that there. And this one I like to use on the bobby pin just because it really helps to kind of guide you. So on your bobby pin, it already has like that little triangle shape that you're looking for to create the wing. So everybody's like, well, how exactly do I position it? You know, how is this going to work? So a lot of times I'll take off the little bumps there just because it'll give you more of a straight finish. Excuse me. But you don't necessarily have to do that. If you're running kind of low on your bobby pins, or if it's really hard to find one, you don't necessarily have to do that. But what you'll want to do is keep it to where the part that is straight on the bobby pin that's going to be the part that you use here. So it's going to simulate, or not simulate, but it's going to be kind of like if you're using your the back of like your credit card or the business card. So that straight edge there is what you'll want to be at the bottom, because that's what's going to create, like I said, more of like that even line that you want, and then the rest you can just kind of fill in. So let's see, I'm just going to go, and what's really nice about this one is that it's kind of like a marker, like a felt tip marker, super smooth. You could even do this freehand. You can practice that way. And it's not hard to do. It's really nice control as well. I just personally like the gel liner myself. That one's my favorite. So I'm just gonna go over this little area here a couple times. And what's really nice, the best way that I found to do this is before you use the pen, have it upside down for like 45 seconds or so. And that really helps just the tint really come down to the tip of the pen there, so you're not sitting there like, why is this looking kind of weird? And then of course, if you're starting to run out, it's going to be a little bit drier, so that means you need to stock up. Okay, so I've got it on my little bobby pin here, and again, we're just going to do the same position, and it's more so just going to be kind of like your stencil. So I'm going to press a little bit more. I think it dried out on me. Put a little bit more there. I think that means I need to stock up on mine. Mine's starting to dry out. Here we go. I think we got it now. Boop. There we go. So it's not going to be perfect, but again, it gives you that triangle shape that you're looking for. And then you can go in with the pen and just kind of bring that tail out a little bit more. I think my pen is running out. And then you'll just want to keep replicating that little step there. And if you don't like the top one there, see, so I've got kind of like a double thing going on here. If you don't like that, you can always just kind of clean it up. And if, so with this one, I may just keep just the bottom one. And then just bring that in there. So it's a little thinner than I would like to do, but I think it's just because my pen's running out. But what I would do with that, if it's completely full, I would just fill that in a little bit more. And if I want the color to be a little bit more intense, then I would just either use more of the shadow to kind of blend that in a little bit better, or really just have a new one of these. So there's that one. And of course, you would just take it all the way in as far as, you know, however far it is that you take your liner into the center of the lid or anything like that. So again, I'm just going to wipe that off real quick. And what's really nice about this one is that it is waterproof. So if you're a crier, kind of like me, you get a little emotional sometimes, or you tend to be really hot, it's not going to melt off your face with just like your sweat. But what's really nice is it comes off super easy with our makeup remover. So really nice there. And then last but not least, my absolute favorite is the gel liner. And this one, of course, comes in the little pot here. And this is all Mary Kay. And this is, of course, the little brush that comes, the extender brush that comes with it, the extender applicator. And what you'll notice, it already kind of has that flat shape. I like to keep mine as flat as possible, especially when I clean it. Excuse me. And that is just so that it keeps that angle there that I'm going to be using on a regular basis to get those wings. So, and again, this might be a little bit more advanced for some people, but I still recommend trying it out. I promise you, it'll change your life. It's going to be amazing. So, the same way that I've been doing for the past two examples here, you're always going to start with your tail. Some people like to start with the inside of the eye. I mean, you can start there as well, but if you really want to get that sharp wing look, I always start with the tail first, and that's of course going to give you that angle that you're looking for, and then you just kind of swipe in and it'll fill in. So what I like to do is try to keep a little bit of the product on there, but not like cake it on. I don't want to make it too thick. And then of course, I'm going to start here at the base of my lid and go out a little bit. So you can kind of see where I'm starting to get a little bit of a wing there. And of course, as you can see, my eye is definitely open, and that's just so that I can see exactly where it is that the liner is going to land. And then I go here and swipe in. And there we go. There's your liner. And then, of course, with this one, I like to fill in a little bit more, just so that it looks more like this guy over here. And I don't like to go further than, let's say, like the middle of my lid, with it being a little thicker. And then just fill that in there. And there we go. Winged liner. And that is it.
So easy.
It honestly is that easy.
So I'd never seen the bobby pin technique.
Yeah.
It's a great technique. Just a great guide.
Absolutely. And again, like, of course, mine came out a little wonky, but you don't necessarily have to use the, because that top part of the bobby pin tends to be a little thick there. I don't know if you can see that a little bit there. So you don't necessarily have to use the top part of it. You don't have to put your liner there. You can just put it at the bottom, just so that that angle is as straight as you want it to be. And then from there, just come into the center of your eye. And that's going to make things a lot easier, because what I have found is a lot of ladies have more trouble with the wing. And when I started doing the wing liner, that's where I had issues as well. And it's really just kind of like trial and error. You really just have to focus on your eye shape, what you're comfortable with. Some ladies like to do bolder wings, where, I mean, like, those things are really, really thick on there. Some ladies like them a little bit thinner. It's more so just personal preference. And with that's what I said, with the gel liner, that one's my favorite, because I feel like I have more control. Because even with the felt pen, the little tip of it can kind of bend a little bit depending on how much force you're putting on it. And then it just kind of goes like, whoop, and you're like, oh man, that's not what I was trying to do.
So do you ever do a wing with just a regular pencil eyeliner?
So pencil eyeliner is really hard to do with, like, to do the wing. It's better for like the center, like your lashes and your bottom lashes. That's honestly what I would recommend doing the pencil liner, just because it does not glide as well.
Right.
What I have found is, well, you could use this other technique as well, is make sure that the liner, if you're going to use the pencil, if you're more comfortable with pencil, you can make sure that it's super sharp. Like, I know ours has the pencil sharpener at the end of it, of the cap. I haven't really figured out how to use it just well. But something that you could do is you could actually take a lighter to your pencil and kind of like heat it up a little bit so it melts a little bit, and it'll smudge a little bit, and that might make it a little easier to do the line there. But because it doesn't glide like the gel or the liquid, what I find is I tend to tug a little bit more at my eye. So instead of, just tugging and trying to, keep the skin as smooth as possible, what I would do is probably use like the back of a credit card or something if you're going to do the pencil liner. So that way you can kind of brush it in a little bit. Or start off with your eyeshadow first, kind of like the eyeshadow technique I did with the brush. Just kind of freehand a little bit so you can kind of get that the shape that you're looking for, and then go back in with the pencil to really just kind of darken in the color.
Yes. Very good. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, and yours always looks so amazing. So you've inspired me. Like, I have no wing at all. You've inspired me. I'm going to try a wing tomorrow.
Yes, I want to see those wings.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Yesenia. I so appreciate you for doing this recording for us so that we can pass it on to our amazing clients.
You are so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Anytime. You'll be back on for something else.
Oh, absolutely.